if you're planning on seeing your pranks this year for your 2025 seniors, you could be going to jail or even getting suspended or expelled or not walking at graduation for your 2025 senior year. Good evening and welcome to Second Look Saturday on Give Me a Break. I'm Jonathan Carmody. Back in our very first season, we focused in on senior or school pranks. If you know how it works, it goes something like this. It would go something a bit like this. Your friends go up and say, hey, I'm going to do senior prank, you in? And then you would go in and you would come up with some ideas about how to prank your school or pranking your principal. You come up with some ideas like we could TP the school, we could sell the school, we could do this, and that. While the other person, you have three accomplices. One person would do the prank, another person would be lookout, and the third person would be videotaping with their camera, while the second person's like, is it all clear? All clear. 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 Oh my god, Stone's coming! Let's hide! Okay, all clear. Is it all clear? All clear. Is it all clear? All clear. Is it all clear? All clear. Etc. Now to get done with the prank, they just bolt out of here, post a video on YouTube. The next day, kids go back to school, and they know that the windows are filled with post-it notes. Well, imagine being part of a TP prank. This student thought so, and it landed him to be picking up toilet tissue. Take a look.
Ms. Bounds, I received a call from a safety advocate saying someone was throwing toilet paper out of the fourth floor boys' bathroom.
Okay.
Got up, went into the bathroom past Nick in the hallway here, who was right outside the bathroom. The bathroom door hadn't even shut yet. Wasn't it?
Yeah, I did it. Who cares? It's toilet paper. You didn't see me in the bathroom. No one saw me throwing it. You know, the only thing is the kid had a black shirt. There's got to be 300 kids with black shirts on today.
Not one of them was in that hallway when I walked right by, but you.
Prove it.
You think this is a joke?
No.
I'm about to hit the ceiling right now.
Wasn't it?
Don't lie to me, Nick. I see right through you. If a student gets caught lying to me, it's up to 2 days in school suspension. You come clean with me, then maybe we can work something out. Did you do it or not?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Inappropriate behavior.
It's just toilet paper. It's not that big of a deal.
Who's supposed to pick up that toilet tissue?
Janitor?
I don't think so, wise guy.
Wrong answer.
You going out there and getting that toilet tissue up. Mr. Donovan, will you monitor that cleanup?
No problem. No problem at all.
I hope Nick sees how childish this type of behavior is. He is a senior, and it's time for him to start acting like one.
Well, I saw the toilet paper, and the first thing I thought about was throwing it out the window. It's funny.
It may be funny to you, but it may be funny to you while you're sitting there behind bars or sitting there out of school suspension. The bottom line here is this: if you're going to pose a senior prank, it's going to get you in trouble. I find this very funny. And looking at the comment section, I commented on here years ago saying that was a waste of paper. Because those were once trees, and now you're wasting the trees. It is a big deal. Toilet paper, that episode of South Park. It probably got them in trouble. And again, you cannot be doing that kind of crap. It's going to get you in trouble, and you can end up going to jail for burglary. Even if you were to create a really funny prank, Ben and Arm are going to be taking a second looking at a Nick Watt report into senior pranks, and one person who created those senior pranks, who even pranked his mom. Because no one wasn't in that homework, they were just focusing on the pranks. And people think it's funny to be posting these pranks on YouTube and thinking that they'll be the big school system. All right. Now here's another. Now here's one we talked about. We probably showed you this 5 years ago. That was to where if you were in Cal Allen, you might have heard about someone breaking into school, making a prank, pouring cooking oil, and not just that, posting a sign saying the school's for sale, and left janitors clean up the school. Take a look.
My old job didn't have room to grow, so I looked into a cybersecurity degree from WGU.
Back in Corpus Christi at Cal Allen High School, some seniors pulled off a prank that could result in criminal charges for some students. Police say the seniors poured cooking oil over the floors of the school, and then they rolled out saran wrap to cover a number of hallways and rooms. The group then posted a sign outside the campus saying the building was for sale. Administrators directed students to wait in the cafeteria today as janitors worked to clean up the mess. Police are said to be investigating this incident as a burglary to a building. Word is a school walkie-talkie was also stolen.
That's burglary, trespassing, vandalism, and theft. If you're one of those people in Cal Allen back in 2019, you know who you are. We're going to raise some common sense about you when we return, and that Nick Watts story about pranks, including one that even led one person going to jail. Please stay with us. I'll tell you, if I was a talk show host like this, it would be like, why would you even think about pulling pranks like that when you know it's going to get you in trouble? Then with a microphone in your hand, cards in the other, I'd be pointing at them saying, you know it's gonna ruin your future if you continue going on this path you're going in. You are students, and you're supposed to lead the other kids by example, and if you're doing this, you could be setting another example for a lot of seniors out there. Don't you know that? And what are you over here smirking at? I mean, I'd be the next Sally Jesse Raphael. Teleprompter be looking at saying, you know, this student right here pulled pranks. And then I would be like, your mother said, your school said that you're worse. This, and that. You have threatened to prank the school if that ever happens to you. I'd be like, is that true? Is that true? Grab your kneecaps. All I did was put your hand on your knee. That would not have hurt unless you were made out of glass. But technically, it's not a talk show. This is YouTube commentary, and the point of my Gimme Right show was to present the story, and then we present some commentary. That's exactly how this goes. But nobody ever realizes that. Here's another one.
Super Peach Month means free cheese sticks from Papa John's. Buy any large or extra.
And thank you for joining us tonight. New at 5, a social media post has an Ahwatukee High School under the microscope.
Just take a look at this.
Who made that post? And tonight, some students aren't holding back on what they think.
All in all, it's just really a stupid senior prank that they're trying to do.
Diego Anaya is well aware of this Twitter post by an account called Desert Vista Senior Prank. It says, "Attention all seniors, new senior prank will be happening next Monday morning at 7:30 in the parking lot. We will be acting like the front gate is a border in New Mexico. We will have cops searching cars, window washers, and people selling tortillas."
I don't think people should be reacting so heavily to it.
But another senior here thinks otherwise.
That shouldn't be the prank. You know, like we do a prank like with silly string or something like that, but that's just overboard.
So you thought this post was racist?
Yes.
The school district says the post is now deleted, but because more than 50 students at the school handle the account, school staff says they're still figuring out who exactly wrote it.
This post was absolutely inappropriate. It was not representative of the class of 2019 at Desert Vista.
Just 3 years ago, Desert Vista suspended 6 girls after this photo of them spelling out a racial slur with t-shirts made its way onto social media and almost immediately went viral.
I can tell you they're an amazing campus. They do so much to create a culture of inclusivity, and you just walk the campus during the day and you can see that there are people from all walks of life.
The district says a prank will not be happening on Monday morning. I'm also told the school does not support or sponsor the Twitter account in any way, and it's now been deleted. Mark, Caribe, back to you guys.
All right, Antonia, thank you.
I mean, a senior toilet tissue. Come on. You're going too far with these pranks. For crying out loud.
It's your sanctuary of peace.
I'm a Hendry County school student.
You think it's funny to be spelling out the word nigger? You think it's funny to be putting the word penis on a piece of paper? You may think it's funny, but you know, the Mexican border gate, the word nigger being put into a shirt, that's racist. That is racist. I mean, somebody look at me going, bitch, it ain't racist if you're white and you're doing this. Only if you're Mexican. I don't know why I'm laughing about it. It'd be like going Halloween. You want candy? Come and get it. That's racist. That is racial profiling. Bitch, it ain't racial profiling to get it right. Only if you get it wrong.
And two off-the-wall pranks.
I mean, just take a look at this.
And faculty.
We're not going to look at this. National Students Faculty, mandatory penis inspection. This is required to get a mandatory penis inspection for the... No, we won't make that. That was fun. That was... Oh my... Penis.
All started with this prank. It reads mandatory penis inspection. Yeah, you're reading that correctly. And this prank was actually addressed to all male students, staff, and faculty at LaBelle High School.
It was something funny, but at the same time, it was something scary.
And parents
offensive.
He found the humor in it, but he says it's something serious too.
We're not gonna play the whole story, but here's what I would imagine. All male students lined up in the hall. We're gonna have a penis inspection. Pull down your pants. 5 inches, get out of here. 12 inches, get your ass out of here. Pull down your pants. You better pull down your pants, boy, I'm gonna whoop you in next week. Okay. You gonna pull down your pants? That's better. You're good to go. Put on your pants, get out of here. And puts walking and going, what are you doing? It's a prank, mister. This is offensive. Y'all get back to class. You get your ass in my office. And we're going with the whole clicking pen, or the tapping pen going. You think it's funny me pulling out people's pants showing penises? That's very inappropriate, son. You're suspended. No, you're not suspended. You are expelled from school. Your parents are getting involved saying that's sexually inappropriate. Now they were freaking. Now they were thinking. This person was in a freaking athletic or extracurricular activity. He would get fucking suspended for inappropriate sexual harassment, sexually inappropriate. Oh God, I mean.
Lewiston High School. They're actually $20,000 lighter because of a prank that was pulled here.
And look at this.
How students pulled it off is something the district is still looking into. And then there's Lewiston High School. They're actually $20,000 lighter because of a prank that was pulled here.
Wow. If you're gonna think about pulling these pranks, you better watch your back, because the police will get your ass and will put your ass in jail. Think twice before you make your next senior prank this year. It needs to be funny and not offensive or racist. Coming up, A second look into one kid who was not focusing on homework, but was focusing on his pranks. And also a second look into all the pranks from the doorstop glued to the floor to even cattle in the hallways, and even the desk on the roof. Please stay with us. Back in the day, it used to be the high bar for the class clown was getting everybody to laugh, but that is so 1980s. Now in today's world, you need props, you need a camera, you need your own YouTube channel. You can even use some livestock, but mostly you just need a little imagination. About all the videos you're about to see and the student you're about to meet, he wasn't focused on homework, he was focusing on pranks. Here's Nick Watt with our second look.
It's that back to school time of year again, and guaranteed kids are already catching some hilarious hijinks.
I never really was that into doing homework. I was focusing on pranks. You know, with the cord on your forehead. We tell him, hey, I bet you can't catch this quarter from your forehead to this funnel in your pants. At the time, they were a little mad because they had water down their pants, but then they realized it was a joke.
Eric Striffler was the prank master supreme of his Manorville High School on Long Island, New York.
3, 2, 1.
His principal had no choice but to take notice.
He probably came onto my radar when he started to do his first couple of pranks. And I started to look online and see what this young man was up to.
I would say my favorite prank that I caught on tape is probably the courtyard dancing. It was such a blast, and everybody loved it. I prank people all the time.
Even his mom.
You son of a...
High school pranks are an age-old tradition. There are, of course, the standard classics now immortalized on YouTube. The doorstop glued to the floor. Post-it notes all over the place.
I don't know.
There's foil. Styrofoam. Cups. In farm country, they lean towards livestock. And the good old desks on the roof. Don't forget the epic We Suck prank, where Yale students tricked rival Harvard fans into holding up signs that spell it out. A similar prank in Ohio earned this bespectacled mastermind a 3-day suspension, legendary status, and the admiration of his classmates. They voted him homecoming king. The senior prank is something of a rite of passage, but these young scallywags got started early and upped the ante.
Today we are going to do a prank on our teacher.
It's a global problem.
This is Daniel.
They're Norwegian.
Hello. Our teacher gonna totally flip out.
They pretend Daniel was killed by a chair. And then comes the teacher. Then she found out it was a prank. Childish stupidity? Well, it can get even worse when grown-ups get involved, pulling pranks of their own. Teachers at a Minnesota high school tricked students into locking lips with their own parents. The students were blindfolded and told to guess who they were kissing. It wasn't the pretty cheerleader or the studly jock they hoped it was, but dear old mum and dad. The principal later forced into a mea culpa.
I'm disappointed that this broke the way it did. I owe anyone who's offended by this an apology.
I don't know how anybody involved, not just one person, said, maybe this is a little too sick, and maybe our kids won't find it that funny.
On a Canadian school canoe trip, a volunteer parent tricked 2 kids into eating moose poop, saying it was chocolate-covered almonds.
When he bit into the almond, he heard somebody saying, "You just ate moose."
Everyone kind of just laughed at me and made fun of me. I started crying.
I mean, that's just not funny.
I think that's great, especially because it's a flip on it's the administrators pranking the kids. So I think that's fantastic.
Fantastic? Thank you, Eric. Eric admits to at least one prank gone awry.
We were doing a little prank on the nurses today.
A buddy was to tell the nurse that every time he heard his name, he started dancing uncontrollably.
It didn't go completely according to plan.
The dancing fool missed his cue and confused the nurse.
Why don't you go sit in the back?
Wait, what's wrong? Wait, tell us.
Can't stop dancing!
What? He ended up looking like he was having a seizure.
That poor acting job earned them a day's suspension. Now us adults feel it only right to bring you a cautionary tale from San Isidro High School, San Diego, California.
He was a grade A student. He was a good kid.
Outstanding student.
He was facing how many counts?
Well, there are 3 counts at 6 years maximum apiece. He could receive the 18 years.
This A-grade student thought it would be funny to set off explosions in campus trash cans, resulting in a full-force response from the bomb squad.
Albert LaForteza is in police custody tonight.
Held on nearly $1 million bail, the homecoming king, football stud with an ROTC scholarship in the bag.
Guilty. He lost his ROTC scholarship. That hopeful future you had before, no longer there. Isn't there anymore?
I mean, when I was in school, it was mainly sort of water bombs and maybe pulling a kid's underpants up at the back. I mean, this is a different level.
And now the kids can jump on the internet and find all kinds of information on how to do all kinds of very dangerous things.
That's what Alfred did. It's on YouTube. Must be okay, right? Wrong. Alfred brought a dozen so-called chemical works bombs into school.
Just keep in mind that these things are very dangerous. The definition of these devices is lumped in there with hand grenades.
I'm sure he never thought he'd have to hire you.
And he didn't think he would have to spend 5 nights in jail.
I think the line needs to be drawn when you're aware that someone in the situation might not laugh.
Item number 16, La Forteza.
Just 2 weeks ago, Alfred had his record wiped.
And I will grant the petition on that basis.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He's about to earn an engineering degree from the University of San Diego. As we said, he's a good kid, and he's our cautionary tale.
I just want to advise seniors to just don't participate in any kind of senior pranks anything that'll damage your future.
My advice for high school pranksters: you need to finish high school. You do not want to get kicked out.
And if you're smart enough to get into MIT, you might turn a building by day into a giant game of Tetris by night, or somehow get a fire truck onto a roof. Ingenious? Absolutely. But still, deliciously childish.
Childish. That's right. The bottom line for you all is this. No pranking. You prank, you go to jail. I'm not advising you guys to go do senior pranks while you're in school. I mean, if you're gonna do April Fool's jokes, just make sure it's safe. Make sure it's safe, and not just safe, fun as well. Okay, prom is coming up, and that means you're gonna be spending a lot of money on some prom dresses. When we return, the second look into that prom dress controversy at Sheldon High School. This was even outrageous for me to talk about because it was discriminating all women when I first started putting on this one. Stay with us. I'll be right back. Well, almost 4 years ago, 3 years ago, we focused in on the prom dress controversy that was happening at Shelton High. Basically, we focused in on Shelton High School's dress policy, which says if you come into prom out of dress code, you're not going to get in front of your tickets, and not just that, you won't be able to come in. Take a look at a sample. Welcome back. If you're just joining us today, I'm going to devote this entire show to prom. Why? Because last year, prom was canceled because of COVID. But now, last week, a young woman filed love by the name of Hannah Hooper decided for the prom dress country, for this prom dress thing, donate a lot of money, and it happened. So 2 weeks from now, it's going to be prom, and I decided, why not do a show about prom? And that's what I'm going to do. So tonight, now before the break,
I talked to you about the prom dress controversy. I think we talked about it before and did the dress code thing, but we're gonna do this again. But we're gonna do it again.
This is when I was.
We're gonna look at some articles. We're gonna look at some news footage that explains the whole controversy. I mean, like I said before, if your prom has a dress code that specifically states, and I quote, like no leggings, no shorts, wear something nice.
Let me just look at this.
But wearing a Chinese-inspired dress.
But we're not going to be focusing in on the that Chinese thing. We're going to be talking about what happened at Shelton, the Shelton School District. And trust me, there are loads and loads of clips that just talk about this. I even did it a couple years ago for Throwback Thursday. Take a look at an episode from about a year ago.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us today, I'm going to...
That was back when I was chubby. So, throughout this Throwback Thursday, our 10, 15, 20 minutes, we're going to focus in. So now let's look at that controversy.
At Harbor Freight, we do business differently from the other guys. We design and test our own. Yeah, very late.
So now what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a second look into that prom dress controversy. First from the superintendent. First we're going to hear from the superintendent. Then we're going to hear from the students. And then we're going to hear from the parents. Y'all may have some thoughts about this. That's why we're going to be taking a second look into that prom dress controversy. Let me ask Noel, prom's coming in May or April. Why are you doing this for the second look when you should be doing talking about other things like no pouch, no play? Basically because I want you to get two to 3 months ahead of prom. That way the school district can change their mind by looking at this and going, maybe he's right. We do need to make some changes. Not targeting women, but, you know.
As to what they feel is appropriate prom attire. Just days before the senior prom at Shelton High School, the superintendent making the dress code clear for prom attire.
90% of our students will be dressed appropriately. I don't think we have to set a different standard for the 10% who don't comply.
The school's headmaster had made an announcement over the intercom last Friday that dresses with backless and cutout styles and slits would not be allowed.
As sexism and feminist, I don't see the issue with our backs.
People were told to wear like camisoles under the dresses, which would make it look kind of stupid.
In the news conference this afternoon, the superintendent is sticking by Shelton's dress code policy that's in the high school handbook. It states no midriffs to be exposed, no halter tops, tube tops, strapless tops, see-through lace tops, just to name a few.
The handbook states school, but it states nothing about prom.
And in terms of a prom, this is a school-sponsored event, okay? This is not an individual event. It's a school-sponsored event. As a school system, we have the right, and I think we have the responsibility, to set a standard.
Students say it's a double standard when it comes to male students who have worn boxer shorts to the Mr. Student Body School event.
And it's a school event, a school-held event, where the guys can prance around on stage in their boxers, but women here can't even show their shoulders.
90% of our parents and students have basically purchased what we consider to be appropriate prom dresses. For some who may not have, we're going to adhere to the standard.
And some students tell me even if their dress was denied, they're going to go ahead and wear it anyway. Prom is Saturday. Reporting live in Shelton, Noel Gardner, News 8.
In 2011, the same headmaster at Shelton High School made national headlines for punishing a student for a prom proposal. James Tate pasted a message in.
Now let's take a look into that. Now that we heard from the principal, the superintendent of this.
Career now on Uber.
Let's take another second look into what some of the students had to say, and even the parents. Some of the students had to.
High school.
Because look at this. Some of these kids spent a lot of money, like $200, $300 on that dress. That's $200, $300. I mean, the kids are thinking to themselves, I mean, going to be like Julius. That's $200 worth of dress that you're denying. And it's like, I don't care. So let's take a look.
Oh, it is the prom dress controversy that has everyone talking tonight. Hi, everybody. Glad you're with us. I'm Ann Craig.
I'm Derek Kramer. Students from Shelton High School flooded our reported inbox with pictures of their dresses today. They say the principal waited until 1 week before the prom to announce that some dresses are too risque for the big night.
And as you can imagine, there's a lot of anger tonight. And it's not just the students. Parents are furious about all that money that they spent could just be out the window now. News's Josh Scheinblum has their back tonight. He went right to the high school officials to get answers for those students who turned to us, News 8. Josh?
And parents and students I talked to are angry. We've literally received dozens of emails, tweets, and phone calls from concerned parents and students that their child may not be allowed to attend the prom because of what they bought for a dress. Now, the dresses you'll see in this story are just some of the ones that we got sent. Are they inappropriate? You be the judge.
It's a very big deal. I mean, people plan for months.
It's an exciting time of year at Shelton High School. Prom is only a week away. But talk to students and they'll tell you that feeling has changed after they say an announcement was made over the PA system.
Our headmaster came over and said that there's like a whole new dress code for prom, and she basically said that the dress code for prom needs to be more appropriate, and there's going to be no two-piece dresses allowed, no open backs.
Students say the announcement went on to threaten those who don't comply with the dress code guidelines that they cannot go inside the prom, and no reimbursement for tickets will be given.
And it was just really harsh. We were all like shocked that it came out and prom's next Saturday, so there's no way any of us can make changes.
And if you think it's just students who are upset, think again.
There's a slit up the leg, yes, that would be on the no list.
Many parents, like Marilyn Ferris, are worried the hundreds of dollars they've spent on a dress, alterations, limo, and flowers will all go out the window. This is a picture of her daughter, Kristen, wearing the dress she plans to wear. Now, you know there are going to be people who are going to watch this story,
yes,
and they are going to say, well, you know what? A high schooler shouldn't be wearing a slit with the leg anyways. And what would you say to them?
It is completely, if they saw it, they would completely agree that it's a very tasteful dress. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Now, News 8 did reach out to the superintendent and other school officials for a statement. They sent us this. It reads in part, we made sure that guidelines were set well in advance of this event so that both students and their parents were aware of our expectations due to the fact that in years past, some very questionable dresses were worn by a few to prom. Now, we don't want to be in a position to turn anyone away at the door. We want this to be a safe and memorable evening for everyone. And we have that whole statement over on our website. That's at WTNH.com. Darren and Ann?
And Josh, I understand when they're talking about those guidelines, they were talking about the student handbook that's given out at the beginning of the year, right? Hey, let's talk about the dollars and cents of this all, okay? Because we all know prom is expensive. So how much money are these teens and parents spending on these prom dresses in the night?
Hundreds. I even met a woman who estimates her bill for her daughter this prom season has already come out to $1,200. And one teen told us her dress alone cost $400. Not cheap. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Josh, thanks. We'll be watching what happens there. We still have some unanswered questions tonight, like if a student's dress is deemed inappropriate and they...
Now what I want to do is I want to take you back to...
And the Chinese...
I want to take you back to what I said. Just listen.
Oh, you spent a lot of money on...
About the student handbook.
Just listen.
At the beginning of the year, right? Hey, let's talk about the dollars and cents of this all, okay?
Just listen to what I had to say.
And even though you spent a lot of money on those dresses, those are inappropriate. You spend your hard-earned money to buy those dresses, and they walk in or say, that's not allowed. You spend your hard-earned money. I don't blame you. The money you make, that's your choice to buy the best dress for prom.
Expensive. So how much money are these teens and parents spending on these prom dresses in the night?
So hundreds. I even met a woman who estimates her bill for her daughter this prom season has already come out to $1,200. And one teen told us her dress alone cost $400. Not cheap. Thank you guys in the studio.
All right, Josh, thanks. We'll be watching what happens there. We still have some other.
I mean,
And after that story, there was a petition that 400 and some people have signed.
Before it's presented to the Board of Education, the whole thing getting national attention, as Jim mentioned. Just yesterday, the superintendent.
And after that, there was the whole petition was talking about it, was talking about this. So let's take a look. So when we return, we're going to look at more of this controversy happening in Shelton. I'll hear from other students, and then we're going to look at the petition, and then I'm going to replay what I have to say. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Second Look Saturday. We're talking about the prom dress controversy that we talked about 3 years ago at the Shelton School District. Now, if you didn't watch that broadcast 3 years ago, or that Throwback Thursday a couple years ago, here's what happened. A lot of girls, there was a prom dress code. There's a prom dress code for the prom that says no spaghetti, shoes, no halter tops, etc. And female students have bought their dresses. Some are up to $1,200 from below $400. Not cheap. Now, before that prom happened, their headmaster said, quote, that there's new dress code, staying out all this. And prior to the superintendent, Freeman Berg, came by to address the issue in a news conference. We focused in on that controversy. And then not only that, we also heard from parents. So now here's what I had to say about that petition.
I'd like to tell you our part 2 of controversy.
Because this was a two-parter.
We've now just run out of time, but we're going to continue this whole controversy on Give Me a Break Sunday or Monday, depending on my schedule here. We're going to continue looking at the articles about these prom dress controversies. Are they out of the...
So now let's look at part 2.
Yesterday, wear a mask. We need to be safe. That's the covered wrap-up. Yesterday, we looked into the prom dress controversy. Now, if you were here yesterday, you may remember this. We looked at some news articles and giving you guys some tips on what to wear or not to wear to prom. But today, part 2 of this prom dress controversy continues with a look at more articles. And we're also going to look at some school handbooks that have that prom dress code controversy.
Which way I looked into one of them, which was at Shelton. So...
I don't know what their options are. It's really hard. We were all shocked, but
Even Sunday night, there were still people frustrated the situation unfolded like it did. It's making a big deal out of nothing nowadays. It's a little too much that they concern themselves with. In the days after the announcement was made, News 8 received dozens of emails and messages on social media.
I mean, just look at all these dresses.
The prom dresses they purchased.
Now here's what I have to say right before.
We did talk to who were permitted to stop by, saying it looked like everyone was having a good time. Nice job. I mean, yeah.
One that is not nearly.
I mean, all the videos. So now here's what I had to say.
Big story in Shelton. Mel just jumped up on the table for the first time.
What did the parents have to say? When we come back, what the parents have to say about this, and what do the kids have to say, and what does the superintendent say now that News 8 did that story? We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining,
I'm going to give you, here's my take. So look at this. Here's what I had to say.
why can't you get a refund for your prom tickets even though it's the dress? Even though the dress have dress code. Well, the situation is that nobody cares. They want to set rules and be strict. I'm back to the moment of the final thought.
Here's what I had to say.
Try to understand here. Why can't you just get your money back for the tickets even though you're out of dress code? Well, basically because it's just a discipline system. All schools have the right to have the dress code. I mean, to create a safe environment. That's what the school dress code is all about. You can't fight it. You can't even send emails to the media and have a press conference about this. But basically all I have to say is that try to look your best for prom and try to have a great time because it is the only time you will experience. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you Monday. Good night.
Now here's what else I had to say on that Throwback Thursday. Because I had to step back. You can wear this, but you can't wear that. Doesn't that make sense?
Prom season means students are spending big bucks.
So now we're going to look again into what Newsday has looked at during that controversy. Not the Chinese prom. This was all this. So, yep, we looked into these two.
Everyone says that earning a degree means having a strict course schedule. Everyone except WGU. For 25 years,
But here's that follow-up.
Bloom has been following the story from the very beginning. He went to Shelton last night and has more.
In buses, limousines, and cars, around 550 students from Shelton High School descended
Sorry about that.
On the Oakdale Theater in Wallingford for their junior-senior prom. A scene typical this time of year and venues across the country. What's different, though, about the night that unfolded for students here, it was surrounded in controversy after the headmaster made an announcement last week that students who wore dresses with outfits that were backless, had cutouts, or had an exposed midriff would not be allowed to go to prom, and the cost of the ticket to attend would not be reimbursed. A move that upset parents and students alike.
It definitely affects a lot of girls, and muumuus are not appropriate for prom, so I don't know what their options are.
Just really harsh. We were all like shocked that it came out.
Even Sunday night, there were still people frustrated the situation unfolded like it did.
I think they're making a big deal out of nothing nowadays. It's a little too much that they concern themselves with.
In the days after the announcement was made, News 8 received dozens of emails and messages on social media from those concerned the prom dresses they purchased didn't fall in line with the headmaster's edict. Yet school administrators still insisted they would stand behind their policy.
As a school system, we have the right, and I think we have the responsibility, to set a standard.
But on Friday, we received the following statement from district officials that reads in part, following a final review of prom dresses, the final number of those that have been deemed inappropriate is 6. Our review committee, comprised of 7 female staff members, reviewed more than 150 dresses in all. News 8 was outside the Oakdale for much of the evening's festivities, but were not allowed on the grounds. If anyone was turned away, they haven't reached out to us. But those we did talk to who were permitted to stop by say it looked like everyone was having a good time.
Nice job. I mean, you have to give them credit. They do a nice job.
In Wallingford, Josh Shanklin, News 8.
Live tonight, a big update on that prom dress controversy. It's a story that's now getting national attention.
And they are not backing down as to what's in the school handbook at this time. And a lot of students I talked to are pretty disappointed, but the school also saying that there are only 6 to 7 questionable dresses. Last Friday, the school's headmaster, Dr. Beth Smith, made an announcement over the intercom that certain dresses would not be allowed, including back styles with cutouts. Now, the school superintendent, Freeman Burr, says they have the right to set a standard for what they believe is appropriate prom attire.
again, we want our young ladies to be dressed beautifully. We want them to be dressed with class and dignity, but we are going to draw the line relative to attire that would be deemed overexposing oneself.
And coming up at 6, I'll tell you why some female students say it's a double standard. And they say it's for good reason. You're going to want to hear that report coming up at 6. We'll have much more.
Right, switching now to something that...
So here's another look.
Dress code policy being enforced by the school. We're told 450 students have signed the petition. More are expected to sign it before it's presented to the Board of Education. The whole thing getting national attention, as Jim mentioned. Just yesterday, the superintendent of Shelton Public Schools told News 8 the district is standing by its policy.
And in terms of a prom, this is a school-sponsored event. Okay, this is not a individual event. It's a school-sponsored event. As a school system, we have the right, and I think we have the responsibility, to set a standard.
Now here's what the students are arguing. They say the school handbook does not talk specifically about prom. And they say there's a double standard going on here. Many have told us about a Mr. Student Body pageant, which apparently features boys in nothing but boxers. So this is kind of what people are upset about, saying there's this double standards. Plus, girls in Shelton have already bought their dresses. They're saying it's too late and too expensive to replace the dresses now. So News 8 has your back with a closer look at some of the styles that are causing all this uproar. We're talking dresses that expose girls' backs, upper legs. Risque.
Yikes. News 8's...
Not the prom dress that I used to wear.
News 8's prom fashion specialist, Brian Spiro, standing by with a special guest to give us a closer
That's right,
look.
Brian.
What about it, Brian?
My parents must be proud. All right, good morning, Jim and Allie. Well, as you just mentioned, the issue surrounding these prom dresses at Shelton High School is getting a great deal of attention. And joining us this morning with some perspective on the matter is Asiya K of Asiya's Boutique in Madison. Good morning, and thanks for being here. So the first thing, the pictures that we've been getting from the girls, who their dresses are now in question, there's a lot of them. They're all very different, but is what we're seeing, is that the style right now? Is that what girls are buying?
The style is defined after Oscars and Golden Globe and what the stars are wearing, and these girls are idling those stars, and they choose the dresses that are close or similar to those dresses. So color-wise, cut-wise, and style-wise.
So we should blame the celebrities for this issue right now. So, you know, at your boutique, you do things a little differently, and one of the things you do is you get the parents involved. Explain why this is so important and what advice you would have for anyone who has children who's going to be going to prom next year or the years to come.
We encourage the parents to be with their daughters when they come to prom shopping, not just because of choosing the right dress, but also that experience, mother and daughter experience. It is very important. These teenager girls are out for their especially first black tie event, most of them, and they need guidance. They need to have that guidance from their parents. I think parents are the main people who decide what they should wear, and sometimes dads have different standards than moms and the daughters, and moms are there to direct the daughters, and we help them with that. We will not sell a dress without parents' permission, just to the children.
And then real quick, just a few seconds left on the flip side of all this, some of these dresses are very expensive, they're very unique.
They are, yes.
Kids need to know the policy of their each individual school.
Well, kids needs to know the policy, and the schools actually need to tell them the policy little longer time than 8 days. It is not fair to them because some of these girls purchases their dresses in January.
Exactly.
And they have alterations to do. They have shoes to match. They have jewelry to match. They have hairstyle to match. So those are all important facts, and it's very important to understand what school they go. Some of the Catholic schools have dress codes, and we as a store encourage those.
So a lot of stuff that
dress
people
codes.
need to keep in mind for this, obviously, so they can have fun and enjoy it. So
Yes.
thank you for being here with us this
Thank
morning. We
you.
certainly appreciate it. And of course, Good Morning America will have much more on this story coming up at 7 o'clock. For now, we're going to send it back to you guys over on the anchor desk.
Thanks.
This dress is causing a big stir in the very latest. Josh.
Aaron, the days until prom over at Shelton High School are fastly ticking by. It's going to be on Saturday, and students have really the next week before they can get approval for their dresses or not. This has been a very controversial topic in that town. On Friday, our inboxes were filled with messages from students sending us pictures of their dresses that they are concerned will no longer be deemed appropriate under the school's prom dress code. Now, we want to tell you a little bit about the background here on this story, and these are some of the photos that you're going to be seeing of dresses that were submitted to us by students. Now, this story begins in Shelton High School, and an announcement was made by the headmaster of the school telling students that if they wear dresses that show a midriff exposed, dresses where there's no back or with side cuts, they would be turned away at the door and they would not be reimbursed for the money that they spent on those tickets. Now, because there are so few days till prom, that has some speaking out that they simply haven't had enough time. And the school also sent us a statement. We made sure that the guidelines were set well in advance of this event so that both students and their parents were aware of our expectations due to the fact that in years past, some very questionable dresses were worn by a few to prom. We don't want to be in a position to turn anyone away at the door. We want this to be a safe and memorable evening for everyone. Now, when we first did this story on Friday, we did not yet have this statement from the superintendent's office. Now that we have this statement, there are parents who are still contacting us at News 8, and they say they want to speak out about it. So coming up tonight at 10 and 11 o'clock, we will tell you what they have to say. For now, we're live in Norwalk. Josh Shanklin, News 8.
First thing Monday morning, students at Shelton High
Issue is a lack of communication with parents. Now, when our story first aired Friday, she and others with students at the school were given a first look at what Shelton officials had to say about their concerns. And tonight, they're speaking out again about the comments we received from those school officials.
It definitely affects a lot of girls, and muumuus are not appropriate for prom, so I don't know what their options are.
On Friday, News 8 received a statement from the Shelton superintendent regarding controversy over an announcement that was made by the high school's headmaster, which has many students and their parents alike fired up.
You go around the hallway and there's just everybody's talking about it, not just one person, it's everyone.
The announcement warns students that those who wore dresses where a midriff is exposed or where there is no back or has side cuts to prom would be turned away at the door with no reimbursement for the cost of the ticket. In turn, News 8 asked school officials for comment, and were told in part that they're only aware of around 6 or 7 dresses that have been deemed inappropriate. It goes on to say, "We made sure that guidelines were set well in advance of this event, so that both students and their parents were aware of our expectations due to the fact that in years past, some very questionable dresses were worn by a few to prom. We don't want to be in a position to turn anyone away at the door. We want this to be a safe and memorable evening for everyone." Is what they said in that statement correct?
No. It can't. Maybe they've only heard from 6 or 7 parents, but I know of 6 or 7 just on my own, and I certainly don't know many parents. But it definitely affects, oh gosh, I don't even know, 75–80% of the girls.
There are words that for some Shelton parents, like Trisha Marini, have been weighing heavy on their mind all weekend. She says she and other parents have already spent hundreds on prom-related expenses for their daughters. And in case you're wondering, the dress she bought hers has a bare back.
So are you going to send your daughter in the dress with the bare back?
I am sending my daughter in the dress with the bare back.
Concerned she might not be allowed in?
Definitely, but at this point, it's a matter of principle.
A matter of principle, perhaps, but clearly this is one issue that's become about much more than just dresses. As for the petition you heard Aaron mention, students tell News 8 they're planning to deliver it to both the headmaster and Board of Education. For now, we're in the New Haven newsroom. Josh Shanklin, News 8.
Josh, thank
And that's the end of that. And there's probably more.
As we talked about in our last half hour here on News 8 at noon, the debate over a dress code
for the Shelton High School prom still very much a hot topic. It's even making some national headlines. The dresses on the no-go list are actually very stylish. News 8's Brian Spiro says more from a local boutique shop owner who knows all about the latest trends.
These are some of the dresses in question for Shelton High School's prom. It's causing somewhat of a tug-of-war between the students and superintendent.
We have the right, and I think we have the responsibility, to set a standard.
There is almost nothing but the rhinestones holding the dress because this is all sheer.
Asiye K is the owner of Asiye's boutique in Madison. She's been selling prom dresses to girls in Shelton.
So we buy what is available in the market and the customer purchase what's available in the market.
News 8 found that much of what's available is what the school does not want to see, specifically dresses that are backless.
It is all about what is out there and what is the trend, what the stars are wearing, what is in fashion.
Kay says she makes sure every student has their dress approved by their mother or father. She reminds everyone for future reference, know the rules of your school.
They need to address those policies again, and they need to inform the families, the parents, so everybody is in the same page.
But in this case, students and parents say there's a gray area.
The handbook states school, but it states nothing about prom.
The superintendent in Shelton has put his foot down when it comes to this dress code. So the big question now, can those girls who are wearing dresses deemed as inappropriate do anything to fix them before Saturday's prom?
We have a seamstress that we work with. We could work with shawls, shrugs, or sheer tops that we could try to work with. But the time period, unfortunately, in this particular case is very short.
Reporting from Madison, Brian Spiros, News 8.
A lot of people talking about this one. We would like to get your thoughts on the prom dress controversy. You can weigh in by giving a call to our Voice of the People hotline number at 20.
So that's the end of the Shelton prom controversy. But what's going to happen now come up in the 10-year anniversary? We'll give more common sense when we come back.
I think one of...
Now, just to be clear, this was focusing on the prom dress controversy in Shelton High because they made national headlines. We're not focusing on the other ones.
Anchor Dog Mel just jumped up on the table.
So here's one more.
Anchor Dog.
Shelton this morning, and Brian, the kids and families, they're not happy about this at all.
Well, good morning, Jim and Allie. As you can imagine, a lot of people not happy about this. Students and their parents, especially since prom is this coming Saturday. As a matter of fact, students, when they arrived here at school this morning, they plan to pass around a petition. Now, all of this began this past Friday when an announcement was made on the intercom here at the school reminding students of the dress code for prom. And basically anyone with a midriff, back, or side showing will be turned away from prom. Students say this was not told to them ahead of time. They've already purchased their dresses and had alterations made. The school says they're only aware of 6 or 7 dresses that were deemed inappropriate. The superintendent released a statement, part of which saying, quote, "We made sure that guidelines were set well in advance of this event so that both students and their parents were aware of our expectations due to the fact that in years past, some very questionable dresses were worn by a few to prom."
Is what they said in that statement right?
No. It can't. Maybe they've only heard from 6 or 7 parents, but I know of 6 or 7 just on my own, and I certainly don't know many parents. But it definitely affects, oh gosh, I don't even know, 75–80% of the girls.
Now, because of this entire situation, comments keep pouring into our Facebook and Report It. This one came from Alexis. Now, this is her dress. When she tried it on in the store, you can see her back is exposed, but her front is fully covered. Now, in that Report It she sent us, she writes, "I get my dress back Tuesday from alterations, and there is no possible way for me to get a new dress or to have it altered again to fit the new school dress code that wasn't even in the handbook. Again, the school claims students know about this, but students say this was never told to them, and when it was told to them, it was already too late. Now, a lot of people have been sounding off about this. Of course, if you'd like to, you can send us pictures or report it, or go onto our Facebook. And speaking of Facebook, coming up at 6:30, we're going to basically show you some of the comments people have been leaving regarding this matter here in Shelton. That's the very latest. We are reporting live this.
I think there was another one prior to this. Maybe.
Here's a story that has many teens and parents talking. A 17-year-old girl from Virginia says she was kicked out of her prom because some parental chaperones claimed her to control the thoughts.
Well, that's probably not related. So, if you're wondering, if you're wondering why I didn't focus on the other prom dresses like that Chinese girl who had the red dress on, that's another story. That's another second look. But what I want to focus on the Shelton controversy, and I'll give you my thoughts about it when we come back. Please do this. Now, a lot of you are asking me why I only focused on the Shelton prom dress controversy, not the other prom dress stories. And that's because, really, when schools make dress codes, it often targets the female students. You know, going in history, back in the years ago, women didn't have the right to vote. Couldn't even vote. And so women couldn't vote. I mean, you're taking away women's rights. But when female students, when you make a dress code for female students, it makes them men look like pigs. That's where you draw the line on dress codes. Equal rules for all. But dress codes are made to create a safe and to make a safe learning environment for all schools. If you got rid of dress codes, then a lot of strategies are going to be put in place, like a cowboy hat or an anarchy shirt. I mean, everyone wants to know about why hats are not allowed in school. And I tell you this because it's a distraction to the educational process. Here, why hats are not allowed in school. Are not allowed in school. Why hats are not allowed in school. There was one video. Just basically looked up no hats in school, and there was a video that popped up. Something like this.
Cheez-It crepes can happen anywhere, so eat Cheez-It crackers any.
The basis is started because it can hide drugs, it's improper, and you're indoors.
I believe, in my opinion, that it came as a result of students hiding drugs in their hats once upon a long time ago.
From what I've heard, it stems back to when there was a lot of increased violence in the schools, and kids would wear their hats down really low and wear a hood over them so they couldn't tell who was who. So they banned hats so everyone could be identified.
Originally, the hat rule came in place because they did a major change in the discipline policy back in 1998 or 99. And at that time, there was a situation where kids were wearing hoods up over their head, and it signified did one of two things. The first thing it did is it said that the drugstore was open. And the second thing that it did is anytime somebody wanted to see who the kid was, they'd pull the strings down and they'd cover their face so you couldn't tell who they were. So when they went through the process of developing a code, they decided that no hats, no hoods and stuff that blocked the vision of the face could be allowed.
So that's why the no hats, hats are not allowed in school. There's another one.
Hats in School by A.J. Miller and Ryan Yax.
Number one, it's a security issue. You can't see faces from the cameras if we need to check film footage for something wrong in the building. Number two, traditionally, hats are not worn in public buildings. So when you walk into courthouses, when you walk into the police department, when you walk into a school, hats are removed just out of respect. It's a respect issue. And number three, they look sloppy, and I don't think we need to look sloppy.
A few reasons from the students.
Alright, so personally, first of all, my name is Justin Callahan, and personally, my take on hats is I love wearing hats. I don't think it's that much of a distraction in school. In my opinion, we should be able to wear hats, so...
What's your opinion on wearing hats in school?
I think I should be able to wear my hat when other kids can.
Now the teachers' perspectives.
I understand why the administration wants to limit this. I mean, it does look more professional not to wear a hat, and they also talk about safety concerns on cameras and things like that. But honestly, I feel like it's a battle that we are fighting that might not be always worth fighting. I don't think it's harmful to wear hats. I think there's a lot of other things that students are wearing that would be much more important for us to try to correct that.
No, I don't support hats in schools. They're disruptive to the educational process.
As you can see, there are mixed reviews on this very subject.
Yes, mixed reviews. Mixed reviews about wearing hats in school. So if you wear your hat to school, you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble. Whether you wear a hat or not, it's a distraction to the educational process. A lot of people are saying I should be able to wear my hat. A lot more people are saying maybe I shouldn't. So it's an opinion that's unlike any other. I hope you'll join me on Monday for the story of another Linnell Jeter. This time it was a different Linnell Jeter. It was the story that even caused someone to be falsely accused and sent to jail. We'll have the story for you next week on Monday. That's all for this Dishing Game Break Saturday going to Sunday. I said we were going to be off on Saturday, but I changed my mind. Sorry for misunderstanding. That's all for this Dishing Game Break Saturday going to Sunday. We'll see you again for Game Break Monday night. Follow us here on YouTube and give me a break. Stop bullying, speak up. Concentration, not strength. No jaywalking. Good night.